I only buy the finest tea leaves, sister. See, POPF.
POPF is indicated on the pack.
Sister, the art of tea.
Now taking a look at one of our headline stories tonight. Speaking at the Cabinet Media briefing today, Cabinet Media spokesperson Minister Kehelia Ramukwala said that legislation is being drawn up to amend 2 articles of the 13th Amendment to the Constitution. Meanwhile, various views were expressed on the 13th Amendment to the Constitution at public fora today.
අපේ අදහසත් සියලු මහා සංඝරත්නයේ අවශ්‍යතාවයත්
Our view and the view of the Mahasangha is that the provincial council system should be completely abolished. It is evident that the government is attempting to introduce various amendments to the 13th Amendment to the Constitution. We are happy about it. We are completely against granting police powers and land powers to the north and east. If the local government system can be amended in a manner that does not harm the integrity of the country, then we can agree to it, even if it is unnecessary for the country.
පළාත් සභා ක්‍රමයේ සංශෝධනය කරනවා නම් ඉතින් රට අනවශ්‍ය වුණත් අපිට එහිදී යම් එකඟතාවයක් පළ කිරීමට පුළුවන්කම තියෙනවා.
අද ගොඩාක් දෙනෙක් අහන දෙයක් තමයි මේ 13 ගැන මොකද වෙන්නේ කියලා.
Many people are asked what is happening to the 13th Amendment. Ever since I took over as the Chief Minister of the Western Province, I always told the media that police powers or land powers are not required. Police powers are not necessary for wrongdoers to seek protection. Land powers should be vested with the central government. This is the politics that I see.
දැන් 13 ප්ලස් නෙවෙයි දැන් 13 මයිනස් කියලා එහෙම සතුටු කරන්න පුළුවන් වෙයි කියලා කාණ්ඩුව කල්පනා කරනවා ඇති. ඊළඟට කල්පනා කරනවා
The government believes that they can please people by saying 13 minus and not 13 plus. Then they will think since the land and police powers were not removed, separatist elements and the TNA will not be displeased. Therefore, the government may consider this constitutional amendment as a shortcut to please both the separatists and those who oppose separatism. If that is what the government is considering, we believe that it is the biggest mistake made by the government.
හැබැයි එහෙම සලකනවා නම් ඒක විශාලම ඉතිහාසයේ ආණ්ඩුව කරගන්න බරපතලම වැරද්ද කියලා අපි කල්පනා කරනවා.
පක්ෂ නායක සමුළුවත් තීරණය කළා තියෙනවා 13 වෙනි.
It was decided at the party leaders meeting to bring changes to the 13th Amendment and the Provincial Council Act. The 2 amendments were submitted to the cabinet today. We call on political parties not to follow petty political gains and to join us in parliament to rectify this historic mistake which was committed in 87. If there are people who do not want to join this movement, then they are partners to this national crime.
ඒ 87 සිද්ධ වෙච්ච ජාතික අපරාධයේ හවුල්කරුව බවට පත් වෙනවා.
1978 ආණ්ඩු ක්‍රම ව්‍යවස්ථාව සම්පාදනය කරලා පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේ ඉදිරිපත් කරන දිනේ අපට වාසනාව ලැබුණා. ඒ ආණ්ඩු ක්‍රම ව්‍යවස්ථාවේ
The day the 1978 Constitution was formulated and produced before Parliament, we were fortunate. Time has come to take a decision on abolishing the shortcomings in this Constitution. What Dr. N.M. Pereira, who was a leader of the leftist movement, saw 35 years ago has dawned on the public, the political parties, as well as the Muslim and Tamil leaders. They now look at this Constitution with disgust.
සුළුතර පක්ෂවල ජනනායකයන්ටත් දෙමළ මුස්ලිම් නායකයන්ටත් එදා ඉහළින්ම පිළිගත්තු ව්‍යවස්ථාව අදය පිළිකුල් කරන බවට පත් වෙලා තිබෙනවා.
A police sub-inspector and 3 police constables have been arrested in connection to the abduction and murder of a businessman from Bambalapitiya. It is also reported that the Criminal Investigations Department had also questioned a DIG over the incident.
Police media spokesperson S.V. Buddhiga Sirivadana said that the police sub-inspector and the 3 constables were arrested yesterday by the Criminal Investigations Department. Sirivadana said that the Colombo Crimes Division had conducted initial investigations into the abduction and subsequent murder of the businessman in Dompe on the 22nd of last month. He added that the CID now leads the investigations. The victim, Mohammed Shyam, was a 35-year-old resident from Sagarmavati in Bambalapitiya. Involved in the footwear industry, he had left his house on the night of the 22nd to drop off a friend. His family said that he had taken the friend along with him to introduce him to a businessman in Gampaha. While there was no information as to Shyam's whereabouts since the night of the 22nd, on the 23rd his body was discovered in Dumpe with gunshot wounds.
A prepaid card system was introduced today for commuters who use buses. The prepaid card system, which can be used instead of the tickets, was introduced through the collaboration of several private and state institutions and the Central Bank of Sri Lanka.
The new prepaid card system was introduced at an event held today under the auspices of Minister of Economic Development Basil Rajapaksa and Ajit Niwad Cabral, the Governor of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka. We will be introducing this card system to all Divi Nagum and Samurdhi beneficiaries. They will be able to make payments with this card, but we will set limits. There will be limits on the amount spent on food, transport and other needs. These cards need not be sold because 350,000 people will be using these cards. We made one request from Gamunu Vijayaratna when we were carrying out this process. We requested that a pension scheme be introduced for bus drivers and conductors. There is a system in place to create and implement a program on the same day. This will benefit bus owners because it will be difficult to cheat them and they will know the exact amount of money earned. Since the money is deposited in the banks, transactions will also become easier.
The opposition raised a question in Parliament today regarding the harassment of a Sri Lankan by an individual of a foreign employment agency in Saudi Arabia.
We have always acted where there are facts that can be proved. We are grateful to the Cirrus organization for showing us the accurate footage. The following day, we not only banned the agency, but we filed legal action against an individual named Malik. Furthermore, we informed the Sri Lankan embassy in Saudi Arabia and steps were taken to raid the agency that was set up in Saudi Arabia and subsequently ban it. We brought both parties, including the person who was harassed, to one location and measures were taken to compensate the victim.
Still in local news, attention was focused in Parliament today on the salary of the chairman of the National Ports Authority. This was following a question raised by the opposition.
The salary from April onwards has been 90,000 rupees, Director Board allowance 30,000 rupees, entertainment allowance 10,000 rupees. The monthly allowance as project manager of the Magampuram Mahinda Rajapaksa Harbour is 110,000 rupees. Furthermore, 12,500 rupees from the container terminal, 28,000 rupees for private consultancy services, no allowances from the International Container Terminal, 10,000 rupees from the Urban Development Authority and 7,500 from Water's Edge.
In an open letter to business leaders, the former chairman of the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce, Chandra Jayaratne, says that business leaders should urgently review the recently circulated Code of Media Ethics of the Ministry of Mass Media and Information. He notes that this review must be undertaken discarding a short-sighted perspective and adds that it is sincerely urged that the business leaders should enter a public debate of the draft code with open eyes, without fear or prejudice.
The former chairman of the Ceylon Chamber of Commerce notes that the review should address what mechanisms of enforcement of the code are anticipated and by whom, appointed by whom, and with what qualifications and arbitrative and legislative entitlement of challenge. If all electronic and print media institutions, including websites and journalists, are to be bound by this code, will it require their prior registration? And if so, what other controls, restrictive practices and pressure tactics could emerge as a consequence? Chandra Jayaratne notes that the review should be made in the backdrop of the track record of governance, transparency, integrity, organized systems, processes and empowered personnel, effectiveness and fair enforcement of the rule of law and justice systems as observed over the last 10 years. The unchecked thuggery and pressure on media institutions by powerful goons who effectively escape the eye of the law enforcement authorities. Pressure and control mechanisms directly and indirectly applied in the control of media institutions and make them subject to self-censorship.
News First has constantly highlighted the improper garbage disposal system followed by local government institutions. Tonight we once again draw your attention towards this issue, which is not only a problem to area residents but also a threat to the environment.
This area, located in close proximity to the Kandana-Nadurupitiya main road, is used by the Jahila Pradesh Sabha as a garbage disposal site. News First correspondent UL Premalal captured this footage yesterday, which is incidentally World Environment Day. When the water fills in this area and vehicles travel on the road, it is difficult to even drive the vehicle home because of the stench. There are flies and germs here. Waste material that should be buried is dumped here. Sometimes the water that fills here reaches 1.5 feet. It is difficult for children to travel to school, but the relevant authorities do nothing about it. The waste from meat stalls are also dumped here. Please highlight this problem. They speak of health and dengue. Ask the officials to come and see this location first before speaking about dengue. It is difficult for children to travel to school. Chairman of the Jahila Pradesh Sabha Lalit Nishant Abevikrama stated that nearly 30 tons of garbage is being disposed here daily. We only bring waste material here. There are many people who operate meat and fish stalls in the area. Now all the waste from the meat stalls are also brought here. I pay a guard to keep watch here. The garbage has now come onto the road. I will take steps to close this garbage disposal site in a bid to help the people affected by this problem. Area residents charge that they have been severely inconvenienced due to the improper garbage disposal system. This is an issue that has plagued this community since the inception of local government bodies. How much longer should the taxpayers continue to bear these issues?
Improper garbage disposal, an issue constantly highlighted by News First. Improper garbage disposal in Madunagala. Improper garbage disposal at the Kantale Base Hospital. Improper garbage disposal by the Kandy Municipal Council. These are few of the many instances of improper waste management. Isn't it important for everyone to act intelligently to create a healthy environment and a healthy lifestyle?